all control of his case. His team has just been caught making threats on the life of a journalist who was simply exposing the facts of Carmelo's case. And now Carmelo's father has been caught claiming he will soon be a billionaire, likely at the expense of all the blind and downright hateful supporters and followers of his son Carmelo. And if those things aren't bad enough, when it ultimately comes down to it in court, Texas prison inmates are infuriated by this and cannot wait until the day he arrives in hopefully their cell block. I'll explain everything. Let's get started. Where to begin? It's been quite a while since we had any significant update on Carmelo Anthony. I think it's because Carmelo's team, at their core, they think they're trying to kind of lay low. They have until next year. They have their lawyers. They just want to keep everything, quiet, let the storm blow over until they can figure out a way to weasel out of this, hopefully, which I don't think they will. But their team is screwing a lot of that up right now, including his own family. So let's start there. Here you have this Instagram page. It is the official, as you see in the bio, the official page for Team Carmelo. They are running his organization, Justice for Carmelo page, right? So here's that. And here's the kind of activity and conversations they've been up to. This was posted by Sarah Fields, who also tagged the FBI because a death threat was made against her. If you're not familiar with Sarah Fields on X.com, she is the leading journalist who is the one, pretty much anything you ever see almost any YouTuber report on a new update with Carmelo, it probably came from her. And that is why they go after her so hard. She is from Texas. She's very into this case. She's a journalist, and she gets all the facts and the details and exposes them. Now, when the facts come out, she just gives you the facts. When the facts come out, it just so happens they make Carmelo look bad because he is bad. So Team Carmelo does not like that. So they've made this post on Instagram, and it says, Sarah is censored, which is her username, is a racist, money-thirsty, godless witch. I contemplated about speaking on this deranged lunatic, but it must be done. Sarah Fields has inserted herself into the Carmelo Anthony case, not for justice, but for politics. She is a mouthpiece for a racist media agenda targeting a black child. I don't think she's targeting a black child. First of all, he's an adult. He's over 18. And he murdered an innocent boy at a high school. He brought a weapon to a high school and murdered a kid. He's a monster for nothing. They go on to say racism. Her attacks on Carmelo echo the same racist tactics that have long been used to criminalize black youth. I don't think you really need racist tactics to criminalize any black youth. I mean, there's a lot of black on black violence, and there's a lot of, there's plenty of crimes that white people commit. That's why there's white people in prison. I was one of them. I'm a white guy, and I went to prison for committing crimes. But let's not act like, nobody really needs to employ any special tactics to criminalize black youth. I mean, there's a lot of crime going on there as well. For example, Carmelo Anthony brought a weapon to school. Sick stuff, bringing a weapon to school, especially at this day and age. Thank God he didn't bring a gun, but he brought a knife, and that was all he needed to take the life of an innocent student. So there you go. We don't need to criminalize black youth. He's a black guy who is youthful, considered youth, and he's a criminal. He confessed to killing Austin Metcalf, so no tactics needed. He said it himself. And then she goes on to finish this by saying she called Carmelo's father and tags him, his account, the N-word, which is absolutely just untrue. She never, ever called him that or said that. Here's also, beside that, here's the direct message conversation between this Justice for Carmelo, official Team Carmelo. They are official. You know, Carmelo and their family stand behind these people. They have appointed them to make this profile and be the operators of the Justice for Carmelo account. They say, do you want a legitimate conversation or do you just want money? Do you notice how they spell just? JS. Very, very ghetto. Not professional at all. I would never hire someone who types like this or communicates like this, but they would, because who cares? It drives me insane how you state Dominique, who they've now gotten rid of because they've already proved Dominique is not a good person to have with his criminal record and just how at risk he's put Carmelo for when he goes to prison. Treating him like a punk, a prison girlfriend holding his hand, treating him like a little boy, not presenting him as a tough man, which you have to pretend to be a tough man if you're going to go to prison when you're 18 years old. And just how badly he's just screwed everything over for them. They say, you know, they're still standing up for him even though they fired him. It says, it drives me insane how you state Dominique is in for the money when you are profiting just as bad. And again, they spell just JS, very ghetto. Sarah responds, says, you've done nothing but spread BS all over your Instagram. You're not a friend and you're not someone I'm willing to have a conversation with. You're just helping my cause. This will be my last message to you, thanks. Direct and to the point. So what do they choose to say? They say, that's not all I've done. We have done much bigger things. Hence the money and the give, send, go. They're now bragging and gloating about how much money they were able to con and scam out of blind, hateful, evil Carmelo supporters. And then they go on to say, there's also something bigger coming for you and the community. So basically, there's something coming for her, Sarah, and anyone who shares the opinion that Carmelo should not have gone to school with a knife and used it to murder an innocent student. If you agree with that statement, there's something coming for you, according to Team Carmelo. And here's a message for your cause. God watches all and allows all. And then they finish it off by saying, don't be surprised if you share the same fate as the people that you're advocating for. She's advocating for justice on behalf of innocent Austin Metcalf, who was murdered. This person running the official Justice for Carmelo Anthony account, who is a part of Carmelo's team and hired by Carmelo's family, has just said, don't be surprised if you share the same fate as the people you're advocating for. Don't be surprised if you are murdered the same way that Austin was murdered. Is that a threat, or is that not? That sounds like a threat to me. I think the FBI or whoever should absolutely get involved and show them you cannot just go around making threats to people for simply exposing the facts of the case. Anyone who exposes anything that is not just, oh, this little black kid, there was a white guy, and, he's black, so he had to, because oppression and racism. He brought a knife to school. Like, dude, you can't do that. Like, if you bring a weapon to school, you're planning to mass murder students. That's why you're bringing a weapon to school. It's 2025. That's what mass school shooters and murderers do. Luckily, thanks to the bravery of Austin Metcalf, who stood up and tried to stop him and saw him reaching, because he saw Carmelo reaching into his book bag. He tried to grab him and stop him from killing multiple students. He lost his own life, unfortunately. But, according to Carmelo, if you don't think that Carmelo should have been allowed to bring a weapon to school and senselessly murder a student, could have been your kid, could have been your son, then you're going to die too. If they find out who you are and that you feel that way, and they're going to make sure you die too. That's what they're saying. Now let's move on. If we move on to Drew Anthony's, because they tagged Drew Anthony in this when they tried to claim that Sarah Fields, just a harmless journalist exposing facts, was racist and tried to say that she called him the N-word, which I can guarantee you, if Sarah Fields, a white woman, called Drew Anthony, a black man, the N-word, it would be all over the internet. This is the first I've ever heard of that, and there is no evidence or anything anywhere. I dare you to show me where she ever called him that. It's totally made up. But she did a good thing by tagging Drew Anthony's official Instagram account, because then I went to it, and what do I see? Boom. He says in his bio, and there's Drew Anthony, his little picture of his family and his little stinking little murderous son. His bio, in all capital letters, very, very ghetto, he says, "I'm God's gift," with eyeball emojis. "Upcoming billionaire, just watch." Just watch. He's an upcoming billionaire. Just watch. Then he goes on to say, also, I'm the best automobile general sales manager in the world ever. 100 emoji. In parentheses, he says, "I'm the real car plug. Ask about me. Brother, I wouldn't buy a pack of gum from you, much less a car. That thing would probably break down 2 miles down the road, and I'd try to bring it back. You'd be like, no, all sales is final, homie. Look here, homie. Don't you know about me? I'm the best general assistant to the assistant manager's secretary in the world. I'm the real car plug. Brother, if I'm looking for a new vehicle, I don't want to go to the real car plug. I want to go to a sensible salesman who's going to give me a good deal on a reliable vehicle. But anyways, aside from that, yeah, he's God's gift. And he's an upcoming billionaire. Did you know that? And guess who's going to make him a billionaire? Guess who's already made him a millionaire? All the idiots who support Carmelo because they simply hate white people. And I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes. We have a whole year. It's very likely he will become a billionaire in that time, because there's just a bunch of racist, evil people sending them money that they break their back for, and they are so stupid and blind, they just send them their money. So there you go. Crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy. Now, to close this out, obviously this won't make his situation in prison any better once he inevitably goes. We already have confirmation from members of the Area Brotherhood of Texas, the ABT. Of course, they want to get him. Carmelo's team has already publicly, in major headlines, declared war against white supremacy. And that's pretty much everything the ABT stands for. And so they've accepted that challenge, and they said, okay, let's do war. Go ahead and send that little 18-year-old who's 170 pounds soaking wet back here behind bars. Go ahead and go ahead and send him on. On top of that, it's not just the Aryans, it's not just the white gangs. He will have no protection, as we know from the black gangs. They've already confirmed no one really wants to recruit Carmelo because he has been infamously caught and exposed for false claiming, but basically that means just pretending to be a part of a gang that he's not a part of. The insane vice lords. He's throwing up gang signs and just pretending he's a part of this very notorious prison gang, and he's not. I mean, he's just a kid from a wealthy part of town who was a high school athlete, but he listened to a lot of rap music and he wanted to be a thug to impress girls, and so he pretended to be a part of a gang. Now that he's blown up all over the news, and this, information has been widespread, the gang has found out, and they put word into the other gangs, and nobody wants him because that's one of the ultimate sins you can commit. If you're someone who is a fraud, you pretend and lie and fake about being a part of a gang, obviously you'll never get in that gang, but also no other gang, no other black gang will take you because you're basically wearing a rainbow wig, big shoes, and a big rubber nose. You're a clown. And any gang who takes you in, all the other gangs who they're kind of, sharing territory with or competing with, they look at you like, yeah, you accepted him? Yeah, y'all are just taking anybody these days. Oh, hell, wow. No. There's probably, if you take a weak person like him, you'll probably take anyone. So it's a bad look for the gang. But not only that, it now becomes the responsibility of the gang that this person pretended to be a part of, the insane vice lords. They are supposed to deal with him accordingly, and they are ready to. We have confirmation of that as well. The insane vice lords are ready to come face to face with Carmelo Anthony and give him what he deserves in their eyes as a gang for claiming publicly that he is one of them when he's not. All that aside, black people, black inmates in general, we already went over this, they are getting calls left and right of their family members, their black family members, who are saying, hey, that Carmelo guy, that Carmelo kid, he's got this case. No, it's right here in Texas. They're all local. Yeah, I donated, their grandmas and their aunts and their aunties and their sisters. They all donated $100, $400, $1,000 to Carmelo, and then it came out that they basically scammed them, and they used that money to ball out and buy grills and chains and cars and houses. And now, the father, the role model, who should be the role model for his murderous son, is over here bragging about how he is going to soon be a billionaire using your money. Yes, your money. Anyone out there who's watching who donated to Carmelo, your money. He's going to be a billionaire soon. The active fugitive who has warrants out for his arrest, Drew Anthony. That's what he's teaching his son. Don't take accountability. Don't face up to your crimes. Don't turn yourself in. Don't face consequences for your actions when you're in the wrong and you commit crimes and break the law. And also, anytime you can take advantage of people, do it, and you'll soon be a billionaire just like me. That's what he's teaching Carmelo. And so it's no surprise why Carmelo turned out the way he did. But now that the gangs and inmates are going to learn that they're bragging and boasting about becoming future billionaires, a billionaire family, they're already mad that you scammed their family members out of the money. And a lot of them, my direct sources in Texas prisons, have told me, hey, if I see him, if I come across, I don't know where he'll end up, I don't know if I'll ever see him, but if I do, I promise you, day one, I will go up to him face to face, look him in his eye, and tell him he owes me the amount that my relatives donated to his cause that he used for his own personal pleasure and benefit. He scammed my relatives. That's money that my relatives could have sent me, and I could have gotten food, or soap, or hygiene, Or maybe they wouldn't send it to me, and this, it's my relatives, and they could keep their money, but they sent it to you. They gave their money to you, and you scammed them. They were already pissed about that, and they were already planning on pressing Carmelo and showing up in his face if he comes their way, and they had that opportunity to make him pay up. Now, you're bragging and boasting that you're soon to be a billionaire. You are re-entering yourself into the crosshairs of the number one target for every inmate to want to go after you with extreme violence and bad intentions to extort you. And don't tell me you don't got no money. Your stinking little daddy just said you're about to be billionaires, whether that's true or not. Your stinking little daddy publicly said, we're about to be billionaires, so don't tell me you don't got money. If you say that, I'm assuming you're lying, and I will stab you in the face. That's how they operate.